What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another trailer reaction. It was a big week for trailer reactions. It was 3. There was one for Avatar: The Fire and Ash that came out this week, Peacemaker Season 2, and then this one's coming out this week. Eyes of Wakanda has gotten its first little teaser trailer, and it looks like maybe this is all we're gonna get from it, I think, because this Friday, August 1st, this comes out, and it's 4 episodes. It's a limited little series thing, and it's going to drop all at once on Friday, which I hate. I wish they gave us, 4 weeks. If it's only going to be 4 episodes, why not give us 4 weeks to talk about it, But animation, drop it all at once, so there will be a breakdown of Eyes of Wakanda, all 4 episodes coming out probably at some point next week or maybe over the weekend. But let's jump on into this trailer and see what Eyes of Wakanda is looking like in Disney Plus's newest Marvel animation TV show.
Wakanda is a kingdom of many secrets. Spies like you and me sent out across the world to do the missions that Wakanda does not want known.
Interesting. So that little start of this setting the tone of what this show is going to be about, and it starts directly in with that music and goes, Wakanda is a kingdom of many secrets. And it says from executive producer Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther. Of course, why would he not be involved in something that has to do with Wakanda and the history of the Black Panthers? Now, I don't know if he was writer or director of this or how much of his involvement was in it, but I'm sure he has something to do with it. And we see maybe like early stages of like the Dora Milaje, but then the guy goes on to say, spies like you and me. And I don't know if the voice behind the lion mask with the white hair is the same voice as like the black guy that it cuts to. And it says spies like you and me, and then it cuts to maybe various different spies that we'll meet throughout these 4 episodes. So maybe they'll have 1 episode each of like, this spy was doing this for Wakanda, and that's how it will be broken down. I'm not sure. But we see like these guys putting on these helmets, and they're like seeming to go fight a war for Wakanda, or maybe they seem to be sneaking around, because he says, spies like you and me were sent out across the world to do missions that Wakanda does not want known, right? So what kind of missions does Wakanda not want the rest of the world about, and why are they sending out these like Wakandan spies to solve these problems? So maybe it has to do with vibranium being stolen, or maybe it has to do with, people plotting against Wakanda. I don't know. Maybe this has to do with like a corruption inside the Wakandans' former Black Panthers, whoever the leaders were. I don't know. We don't know really when this is set. I don't think it's modern day. I think this is definitely ancient history of Wakanda type of thing. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
Secrecy is essential to Wakanda's security. Be a ghost.
On August 1st, at the end there, it says, secrecy is essential to Wakanda's security. Be a ghost. And then we see like a holographic person, and like the feet are revealed first, and maybe it kind of looks like Black Panther feet. And then when they get closer, it looks like, no, the guy puts out claws, so maybe this is like the first Black Panther that has like holograph tech back in the day. I don't know, but we see like these old ships, and this early Dora Milaje and their spears, and like the lion symbol on the sails of the ship, and like this early Dora Milaje woman jumping from one top of the mast to the other, and like, kind of tiptoeing like kind of like Assassin's Creed assassins, but also kind of pirates, but also kind of Wakandan. I kind of like the vibe of this, and I like the animation style, how it doesn't look like What If or any of the other Marvel animation, and it feels very Wakandan, but also feels very animation, like, I don't know, it looks really good. But on to the next portion of this trailer.
The time to act is now.
The time to act is now. We fight for home. We fight for Wakanda. And we see like a ship maybe flying towards Wakanda. And we see these two people fighting, like spinning in circles with like ribbons before clashing in the middle. And then it says Disney Plus invites you to return to Wakanda in a 4-episode limited series. So this is going to be a 4-part series. And I believe it's going to take us through various different parts of the history of Wakanda and like secrets that they were trying to hide and different assassins that they had out there. I don't know. Very interesting though. It's going to show a part of the Wakandan culture that I don't think we've seen very much, and like an origins almost of like, I don't think necessarily an origins, but definitely like a telling of stories of their past, you know, like it's definitely not going to be modern day T'Challa or even like T'Chaka. Maybe by the end of this it could lead into like T'Chaka and like T'Challa and Shuri's like ancestry, but I think this will be set, you know, hundreds of years before that, honestly. Just from the way everything looks, it looks like, you know, ancient Greeks and in Roman time, you know, like that type of era of thing rather than more modern day, which I think is a deep lore and history of the MCU that we haven't explored. So yeah, I wouldn't mind going further into the past. I mean, the furthest into the past we've gone is like World War I and World War II type of shit, right? Or like, you know, whatever Captain America wars we're fighting. We haven't really gone very deep into the history of the MCU type of thing. You know, like our history is more modern. Where like, you know, with Superman and James Gunn setting up his DC universe, he's going 300 years into the past was the first metahuman. It's like, what? What's going on here? So maybe we're going years and years into the past and we'll see like the first Black Panther and like see that whole shit and like, I don't know. And see what these spies are up to. Maybe they're going against the royal family. Maybe they're going against the crown and in the, you know, Black Panther. Or maybe they're with the Black Panther doing jobs for him. You know, like maybe who are the assassins hired by? You know what I mean? Like who's hiring these Wakandans to keep the Wakandan secrets? Is it somebody high up that's like doing some wrong shit, or is it Wakanda knowing about this and just being like, no, we need to do some shady shit, but it's fine because it will keep our secrets? I don't know. And then at the very end of that clip, one of the guys, you know, that says, we fight for home, we fight for Wakanda, one of the spies here, he seems to have kind of like a purple, glowing, powered up, for lack of a better word, Winter Soldier arm, you know, like a fully metal arm that maybe he looks like he put on, like kind of like a weapon that he can equip, because on the inside he only has like a couple straps, but it seems like maybe this metal forms around him and then powers up this arm and he can kind of go like boom and like shoot a blast. I don't know. But on to the next and final portion of this trailer. So this portion of the clip starts and there's people fighting and you know, various different people that they cut to fighting, and giant lion mask with white hair is fighting the same woman that's fighting this guy on the ship with 2 swords and, you know, giving her a nice little punch to the gut, and then they're using logs to breach something, you know, probably break open a door, and then this woman that we were just talking about has an arrow flying at her like she's about to get hit. And it looks like maybe a Iron Fist, like one of the older Iron Fists is in here, like almost comic book accurate Iron Fist mask. Interesting. What does Iron Fist have to do with Wakanda? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe Iron Fist is stealing vibranium. I don't know. But this guy comes to strike down this king. It looks like they grab this like sword by this glove that they're wearing and use the same electrical purple power to explode it off of him and send him flying back. And then we see a shot of what looks like a giant scorpion tail, or like maybe a giant crab leg taking a step from out of like this fog. Creepy, crazy shit. And then it looks like maybe that same scorpion tail that we just saw is powering up and shooting this big blast of like lava or energy or something. And then what looks like maybe a golden Black Panther goes, "Wakanda forever!" and holds back that beam that whatever is shooting at them to protect the people behind them. And then that's where they cut away to Eyes of Wakanda, streaming August 1st, all episodes on Disney Plus. Like, wow, wild. Like, so I have a few questions that go along with like these character posters. Like, what is Iron Fist doing in here? Who is this giant golden person with this white hair? It seems like some king or queen. And then this seems like another character poster of the same person, or maybe the troops of these people have like this mask on, or maybe it seems like a mask because there's like two little eye holes under those white glowing eyes. So I don't know, maybe that's somebody we'll meet. And then there seems to be some soldier wearing this big metal helmet, and then maybe a Wakandan fighter of some sort, kind of wearing a similar Black Panther-esque mask, but kind of like the wooden one that T'Challa wears during like his first tribal fight. You know what I mean? If you do, you do. I don't know. Very interesting little series, little rundown of like a trailer, you know, like a brief little minute and 20-second teaser trailer for a animated series that they're dumping all on August 1st. Like, was this the original plan for the show? Is this just going to be kind of like an Echo where they're just kind of like, we were told to make a whole bunch of shows, and this is kind of like the last of that stuff, along with like Ironheart, where they were just kind of like, dump it all at once and just get it out and let people like it if they like it, and then if they don't, it doesn't matter because we're on to Avengers Doomsday. We're not doing anything that has anything to do with this. So for me, I was like, it doesn't make me feel good that they're like, oh, drop it all at once randomly in August 1st, and it's like, huh? Like, is that the best idea? Is that what this show deserves? Like, couldn't it have gotten 4 weeks throughout August? Like, what do you guys have going on through August? Nothing. Like, but join me sometime next week to break down and react to the entire show of Eyes of Wakanda, which will drop this Friday. So sometime I'll let people watch it over the weekend, and sometime next week will be a breakdown for that. And stay tuned for Peacemaker Season 2. There's a trailer breakdown for that on the channel now. And Peacemaker Season 2 comes August 21st. I can't wait for that. A breakdown for Avatar Fire and Ash is also on the channel now, so go check that out if you haven't. That's coming in December. Go check out my Ironheart breakdowns for the last Marvel Disney Plus show that got put out. It really goes a long way. If you would like this video, commenting down below and subscribing if you haven't already are all great ways to support the channel and get these videos out to the algorithm, and hit share link, or, you know, send this to a friend, or even just hit copy, share link, you know, and that goes a long way to helping the channel. And if you want to hit that bell so you don't miss future trailer reactions and future Marvel content on this channel, and you'll get the notifications when those come out. And once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by. If you want to chat more Eyes of Wakanda with me, my links for my other social medias are down in the description below. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and once again, my name's Big Cam. Thank you guys so much for coming on by, and I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Peace!